8th grade, good morning. We're ready for quiz 2, winding down this very last book. Okay, we have several things that are going to show up in your quiz. I did the quiz just to see if I could do it. I'm not going to tell you again what my grade is, but if you call me, I'll tell you. Okay, I think you can handle it, but you do need to think about some things. We will once again have a part that was particularly problematic on one of the last quizzes or tests. It's a little while ago. It was not the last one. And that is identifying the infinitive phrases. So we want to just think about that a little bit. So the first thing, let's go to lesson 2 in 810 and talk about look at those infinitive phrases. So they are going to be on there. All right. The first thing we want to review, infinitive phrases, of course, it seems redundant for me to say, begins with the word to and then a verb. Now, while we're on that subject, I noticed on the quiz, they pull a trick. So at least in one place, they're going to have the word to with a noun. That's a prepositional phrase, so be on the lookout. Every sentence that talks about infinitives will have an infinitive phrase, but it's going to look like there are two in the one sentence, and there isn't. The one is a prepositional phrase. So only, infinitive is only when you have the word to with a verb, not to in a noun. All right, so they can be used in 3 ways. They can be used as a noun. If they're used as nouns, they have noun functions like subjects, predicate nominatives, direct objects, and indirect objects, or object of preposition. So they can be any of those as nouns. They can be adjectives. So they're going to describe a noun of some kind. And they can be adverbs. And you know, the adverbs are the interesting ones because they can modify verbs, adjectives, or other adverbs. And they usually answer the question why, but sometimes when seems to make sense to me too. But why often makes the most sense. Now, if you can commit this to your mind, because I usually don't want you to write anything down that's on the quiz, but these are things that I would probably give you if you were sitting here, and being you aren't, I can't. So here is the clue. You're going to have a part where they're going to say the infinitive phrases. Are they nouns, adjectives, or adverbs? And there are going to be 4 of them. And I'm just going to give you the number. So there's 1 noun, 1 adjective, and 2 adverbs. Okay? So of the 3 possible, there are 2 of adverbs. Could be noun, adjective, or adverb. 1 of each, except 2 adverbs. Okay? If you can, actually, you know, I'm going to allow you to write that down. If you want to write it down on a little slip of paper, and you can have that with you on the quiz. Because it's probably something I would tell you after I hand the quiz out. So it's the same thing. So go ahead and you can keep that information. 2 of them are going to be adverbs. Now, how do you diagram an infinitive phrase? Just like it looks like a prepositional phrase, to with the verb, and then you, of course, if it's infinitive, you can have a direct object, you may have adverb modifiers, and so on. Okay, now we need to, something I don't have up here, and that's the words that are used as adverbs. So I'm going to need all of you to turn to page 5 in lesson 2, and we need to review this. So if we have an adverb infinitive, let's think about how do we know what word it's modifying. Okay, remember again, I talked about how it often answers the question why. So let's go to page 5 and look at numbers 4 through 10 and just review all those. Okay, you should have done this long ago. You should have graded it. Hopefully you figured out if you did it right or wrong and learned it well. But let's just review it to make sure. So number 4 of page 5. We were stunned to hear about the martyrdom of John Schroyer. Okay? We were stunned. Stunned is a predicate adjective in this case. Trying to think, is that an adjective or is it a verb? I think it is a predicate adjective. These are tricky. So it would be a participle adjective. But at any rate, the results are going to be the same in this sentence. To hear about the martyrdom of John Schroyer. So there you have to hear about the martyrdom of John Schroyer. That's the one you should have underlined. And then, so you're asking yourself, we were stunned. Why? And it goes back to the word stunned. Okay, let's do number 5. Jesus' disciples were commissioned to tell others about Christ. And so here you have to tell others about Christ is they were commissioned. Again, it's the word commissioned here. It's telling why or what they were commissioned to tell others about Christ. Daniel said, we came, why? To help you. So to help you is the infinitive, and you would go back to the word came. Let's look at number 7. The children ran to the window to watch for their grandparents. The children ran. Where is to the window? There's an example of what I was talking about. To the window isn't an infinitive. That's a prepositional phrase. So children ran to the window to watch for their grandparents. To watch for their grandparents is the infinitive, and it needs to go back to the word ran. Children ran, why? To watch for their grandparents. Okay, number 8 is an example of modifying another adverb. My feet are sore and I am too tired to go much farther. So to go much farther is the infinitive, and the arrow would go back to the word to, T-O-O. Too tired, that adverb of extent. Okay. Number 10 is just an example of maybe something that could be tricky. Mary covered her ears to block out the noise from the roaring waterfall. So ears is a noun, not an adjective. So we're talking about adverbs here. These are all adverbs, so it cannot modify ears because it can't be an adverb to modify ears. Adverbs can do a lot, but they can't modify nouns. So Mary covered why? To block out noise in the roaring waterfall. So that arrow would go back to the word cover, not to ears, because to block out the noise of the roaring waterfall, and again, you could say, well, it's an adjective infinitive, but it's not. It does not describe ears. You know, to block out the noise does not describe her ears in any way. It tells you why she covered. Okay? Does that make sense? So you have to look out for that. It's not always the word just following, even though it often is, but you have to think it through carefully. Okay, so much for infinitives. You will have those on your quiz. Okay, on lesson 3, you learned about the noun complements, and those are simply the words following verbs that are nouns. And there were 3, the predicate nominatives that need to follow a linking verb, the direct objects, and the indirect objects. Now, you had this, I think, in a review. You cannot have an indirect object without having a direct object. That feels really, really kind of something you all know a lot about. So I don't really feel a need for me to review it with you. You go back and make sure you understand it. Study lesson 3 to get to that. Okay, in lesson 4, we had transitive and intransitive verbs. Let's just quickly talk about that. So again, we've reviewed it a lot, but we're talking about action verbs and verbs that transitive transfer their action to something else, or intransitive do not transfer their action. Okay, transitive verbs then can be divided into active or passive voice. Now that doesn't really enter in anywhere on your quiz, but it does help us to understand that both active and passive voice are transitive. Transitive simply means you look at the action verb and you ask yourself, is this being done to anything? Sometimes that word is the subject in a passive voice sentence, and often it's the direct object in an active voice sentence. So it's intransitive when you have action, and you cannot see anything it's being passed to. You may have adverb phrases that tell you how, when, and where, or why, but nothing is actually receiving the action. So again, that's in lesson 4. Review that well. Let's go to lesson 6 and just look at noun clauses. So everyone turn to lesson 6. Okay, so noun clauses. Remember a clause, it's any group of words that have a subject and verb, and the noun clauses are those dependent clauses that are used as nouns, and so they can do noun functions. Alright, they can do 4 things: subjects, direct objects, predicate nominatives, and object of preposition, and they can also be positives, even though you didn't learn about that. They begin with, on page 15, a list of words. That's not an exhaustive list. It means there are more, but those are common. They often begin with the word that, but not nearly always. So, what do they look like? If you turn to page 16, let's just look at numbers 1 through 6 that you did in your lessons. Okay, so you were supposed to bracket the noun clause, circle the introductory word, and write how it's used. Alright, so number 1, I wonder who parked his bike in the middle of the sidewalk. So you should have bracketed who parked his bike in the middle of the sidewalk. It begins with the word who. So you would circle the word who. That's the introductory word to the clause. Who parked? There you have the subject-verb pattern. Now, what function does it do? Remember, it can be subject, direct object, predicate nominative, or object of preposition. I wonder. What's being wondered? Direct object. Okay? Number 2, whether Thomas goes along with us to the ball game depends on his getting home from work on time. So you should have bracketed whether Thomas goes along with us to the ball game. The word whether is circled. And that one is the subject of the sentence. So depends is the verb. The clause ends up being the subject. Who or what depends is how you find the subject. Whether Thomas goes along with us to the ball game. So, subject of the sentence. It can be a subject. Let's look at number 3. A gift certificate to the bookstore will be awarded to whoever reads the most books of this school year. So you should have bracketed whoever reads the most books of this school year. Introductory word is whoever, that was circled. And you see the word to. Now, don't let this confuse you. To can begin an infinitive phrase if it's to with a verb. Here we're talking to, and we have a noun clause. So this is an object of preposition. To is a preposition here, and the noun clause is the object of preposition. All right. The predicate nominative is in number 5. Remember, predicate nominatives that you had up here in lesson 3 can only follow linking verbs. So number 5, a more reliable vehicle is what we need. What we need is the noun clause. You see the we need, the subject-verb pattern. It's a clause, and it begins with the word what. That's the introductory word. And it's functioning as a predicate nominative because it's renaming the vehicle. And it follows a linking verb. Okay, once again, I'm going to let you make a notation here. You're going to have 5 of these on your quiz, and you need to label how they're being used, and I have it down. There's 1 of each except the direct object. There are 2 direct objects. So 1 subject, 2 direct objects, and 1 of each predicate nominative and object of preposition. Okay, just one last thing that we want to cover chalk here. So how do you diagram these noun clauses? And I had to zoom all the way around here. So I'll flip sides and point it out here. But you put them up on a pedestal. So if they're a subject, of course, you would have the line after it. If they are a direct object, you would have a line before it. Of course, if they were an object of preposition, you would have the preposition here, and you would have them down here. Now, just one last thing to point out, and this was in lesson 6, but just remember this. The introductory words that, whether, and if have no other function in the sentence except be the introductory word. So they'll not fit anywhere else on your diagram. So remember what you do above your noun-verb splice mark, you put little dotty marks, and you just put the word that, whether, or if above the dotty marks. And yes, you have one of those on the quiz. So watch out for that. Okay, I believe that has you ready to go. So review all these parts carefully and ask the Lord to help you. And I think you'll do just fine. I look forward to seeing some good grades on quiz 2. Thank you very much.